for just $1 down and $24.99 a month.
Hurry, this deal ends soon.
See Home Club for details.
This is how we do every day. We be grinding, and if you wanna come and text us,
if you love them enough to turn off your music and pretend like their music is your music.
This is Mommy's jam.
Then surely you'll check nhtsa.gov/the right seat to make sure they're in the right car seat.
Let's play it again.
Check today at nhtsa.gov/the right seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
1 in 3 adults has prediabetes. 1 in 3. That means it could be you, your football buddy, your football buddy, or you, your best man, your worst man, you, your dog walker, your cat jogger. While 1 in 3 adults has prediabetes, with early diagnosis, prediabetes can be reversed. Take the risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org. That's doihaveprediabetes.org.
Wait, did they just say 1 in 3 adults has prediabetes? That's 33.33333% of adults. That means it could be me, my boss, or my boss's boss, or me, my favorite sister, or my other sister. That's 7 members of my 21-person romantic book club. Wait, the 1 in 3 could be me, my karaoke partner Carol, or my karaoke enemy Jeff. I'm going to take the risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org.
Brought to you by the Ad Council and its Prediabetes Awareness Partners.
Sometimes I just cannot believe all the storms we've gone through here. I can only hope that we'll be able to leave this house to you one day, baby. You're our legacy.
Planning for these disasters will make sure we're safe, and is the best way to protect that legacy.
Protect your legacy. Visit ready.gov/plan for the tools and tips you need to start your emergency preparedness plan today. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
The Nebraska legislature will soon meet in special session and may consider a vote to raise consumer prices by imposing a sales tax on advertising. Nebraska's small businesses would be hit hardest, forcing them to raise prices, meaning we'd all pay more for the things we need. Contact your state senator and tell them no ad tax. Visit noadtaxnebraska.com to find your senator's contact information. That's noadtaxnebraska.com. A message from the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
When it comes to making plans, you are the best. What about those round trips, which are perfect on your way there and perfect on your way back? Or those meetings with friends, surprise parties, camps, birthdays. The same way you plan for the important moments, start planning to protect you and your loved ones from a natural disaster. Sign up for local weather and emergency alerts. Prepare an emergency kit and make a family communications plan. Get started at ready.gov/plan.
Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
On the Block with Strick and Austin.
If it was the Big Ten and the SEC and the Big 12 and the ACC's idea to kick back to grow the game at lower levels, we wouldn't have these conversations. Right. But because the NCAA is asking them to do that, it feels like they're getting their wallet stolen, money taken out of it, and it's not their idea, so they're against it.
Yeah. Weekdays from 2 to 4 on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
As an 18-year-old, I let my mistakes kind of take over my life. I was 0.5 credits away from completing high school, and I didn't do it.
10 years later, at age 28, Jackie finished her high school diploma.
When I found out that I was pregnant, I know that I had to do something for myself if I wanted to make her a better person and provide a better life for her. My family never stopped pushing for me to be better because they knew what I could become and who I could become as a person. My support team is amazing. The educational director, my sister, and even my 7-year-old daughter has just been more than the support that I could ask for. I've been given an opportunity, and I'm just thankful for it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. This is the Don't Punt Hour with former Nebraska receiver.
Throwing over the middle, completes the pass. He's got speed to the end zone. Touchdown! 45 yards.
And return specialist.
This time he beats the kicker and one more.
DeMornay Pierson-El.
Not only does the sideline have confidence in Pierson-El, but Pierson-El has confidence in Pierson-El.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, welcome into the Don't Punt Hour. Once again, Harrison Arns on the ones and twos. As always, come take weeknights. We got DeMornay Pierson-El on the Allo VIP line, where they understand the importance of exceptional service with a local heart. With that being said, let's go ahead and bring him in. DeMornay Pierson-El, how's it going on a warm Monday night, man?
Going good. Enjoying it.
Yeah, I am too, just in the AC. But with that being said, where do you want to start? There's got plenty of things over the weekend. Obviously, the Olympics, I think that's probably the best way to start this one out. And of course, you guys can join in as always, 402-464-5685. We got the Royals on the airways, but like I said, that Starter Heyman text line still available along with the streams as well. And just for curious for the medal count, I'll just quick give 1 through 6 because we have to get all the way to 6 before we actually get to the U.S. In terms of golds. But Japan, they got 6 golds, France 5, then obviously China with 5, Australia 5, Republic of Korea 5 in the U.S. with only 3 gold medals, but the U.S. is number 1 in total medal count with 20. In second place, I believe, being France with 16. But DeMornay Pierson-El, just first thoughts with the Olympics. Obviously early, no need to panic for U.S., but they are sitting there with 20 medals. What have you enjoyed so far about it?
Just these athletes train for, years to get on the stage and compete in front of the world. So them actually, having the goal of wanting to be an Olympian and actually going out there and competing at a high level and being successful with it. So, I mean, that's just I understand, the preparation for your sport and whatnot, but their preparation is a completely different thing. Football isn't an Olympic sport. They're talking about flag football. Hopefully we can get that going. But it's just good to see, people live out their dreams of things and whatnot. So that's the most important thing that I like out of the Olympics.
Yeah, and you can definitely see, obviously, it's 4 years kind of culminates those moments. You do just get to see some epic moments. One of the sports that I've never been aware of how entertaining it is. Have you been able to catch any of the badminton at that Olympic level? How insane that is to watch?
No, I haven't, but I'm pretty sure it's probably funny.
Yeah, it is. It is just over the net, and it's about just nonstop. It's like just a high-speed version of table tennis. It's incredible to watch. Other than that, the other ones that have really caught my eye is if you're watching the U.S. women's rugby team, oh my Lord. No one's beating those guys.
They are running through people, literally. Literally, it is not fair. Yeah, I don't want to partake in that. I'm good on that one, but shout out to them. Hopefully they keep doing their thing.
Oh yeah.
I can't remember what country it was, but I seen the diving fumbles. That was a good laugh. I watched that video probably about 10 times straight. It was a male diver. He just backflopped. It was terrible. But
yeah, I actually think that was the Philippines. Once again, I think that's 2 Olympics in a row where I don't know if it's just one of those things where they don't have people that really compete in it. But then they have to send somebody, and I think that's 2 Olympics in a row now that's happened.
Yeah, so that's in 8 years you couldn't, figure it out. Come on now, like you can teach somebody to do something, or look, you're gonna learn this skill, and that's just what it's gonna be. So when this time comes around, you're fine and dandy. I think ping pong was interesting. I know Anthony Edwards was attendant of that after a little video went off with I think the ping pong table, the ping pong athletes coming over, and with I think him and Steph. So it was entertaining to see, him being out there. But ping pong is another interesting sport to watch too, because that's a different type of competitiveness. But I admire that, and that's actually fun to watch.
Yeah, that's certainly to me. Anybody that's playing table tennis like that, that's the elites of hand-eye coordination. Because it gets to a point where I think it's just a blur. I mean, you're totally just kind of just by natural instinct, knowing where that thing's going to be at, just based on the speed you see it come off the paddle. That's kind of the same thing. I think why badminton's been entertaining to watch. But I have noticed, with USA, surprised at all earlier, the volleyball team did actually lose to China. Now, China's no snub when it comes to volleyball. They've definitely been building a program, and the height for them, I think, actually proved to be a significant problem for the U.S., but it's also a little bit of a transition for some of these great, volleyball players that we've had through these past Olympics. We're getting some new people in there, but are you surprised at all to see them? They actually did drop their game today versus China.
No, it's early on. I mean, we understand what certain sports, what China is bringing to it. They've been a competitor for a while in certain sports. I mean, you just kind of, somebody has to lose. You just face them early on. I mean, I don't think, it'll be the last, but it sucks that it happened. But I mean, they compete. They're athletes too. So it's kind of one of the ones, if it's going to happen at some point in time, somebody's going to lose.
Yep. So that goes the defending champs. I do believe, they didn't win it last Olympics. Still, the defending champs go down. China takes that one away. And just a few other things. It does feel like the U.S., we have so many of these new athletes kind of entering. We also got the new duo for beach volleyball, although those guys are doing really well. One more sport I do want to talk to you about, and that's obviously going to be basketball. We have to bring it up with Team USA. They really dominated Serbia. The women as well, if we want to throw them in the mix, they beat Japan. They both beat them. The men's team beat Serbia by 26. The women's team goes out and beats Japan by 26. In that men's game, you feel good about how that team's starting to click now. I mean, Serbia, and if I had to make power rankings, they'd probably be in the top 3, top 4 if I'm ranking all those national teams. USA took care of them pretty handedly, and it was by some strong performances from a couple of individuals, though. Give me your thoughts. Team USA, they beat Team Serbia by 26, behind almost a perfect game from Kevin Durant.
I mean, again, you were more worried in this turn about certain things, or people not playing as dominant and everything now. And like I said, when the lights come on and everything like that, I thought, they would handle business and whatnot. So it was a good showing. Hopefully, they continue to finish off and keep, dismantling people left and right. I mean, there's not too much. I mean, really, you can nitpick with stuff and whatnot. But again, like I said, once they turn the lights on and everything like that, that's going to be a hard team to match up, because I mean, all the players are NBA players. Just about all the players are stars. Just about all the players, can take over the game, will take over the game, and it's a problem for whoever you put, up against them. So hopefully they just continue to pack on things, and like I said, they blow teams out by 20.
Yeah, I felt good. The only thing, if I am going to nitpick here, which for the sake of conversation, I think it's fair to nitpick. If Kevin Durant doesn't just play out of his damn mind, that game actually does get a little bit hairy heading into that second half. Because give credit to Serbia, they actually were leading the U.S. I think they went on like a 12-2 run right out the gates. USA, they did start coming back. But as that first half started going towards the end there, they were starting to kind of lose that lead once again. I felt like Serbia was going to be able to get a little bit of a cushion. And then Kevin Durant, 5 for 5 from the three-point line, only misses one shot on the floor on the entire night. Kevin Durant just played out his mind, and he kept that team from ever getting too confident that they felt like they could pull away from Team USA. That being said, LeBron James, also got to give him his flowers. He's just been, once again, I think he had 23, 9, and 7, just an all-around dominant performance. You surprised at all to see Kevin Durant, despite the injury, play that well, and LeBron James, who's damn near 40, he might actually even be 40 today, just play at insane levels, not only just physically, but conditioning wise. I mean, LeBron looks like still one of the best in shape guys on the court.
No, I mean, those athletes, they spend, amount of money and time, recovering and making sure that their body is in peak shape and whatnot. So when you get, on the level for them to play like that, I mean, that's exactly what you get. I'm pretty sure Kevin could have played sooner and earlier, but it was just more so, get your rest. Like when it counts, we'll need you. And he'll do what he does. So no, it's not surprising. I expect, those two athletes to compete and play at a high level because of who they are.
Yeah, and Kevin Durant, it felt like when he came back for that Warriors team off that injury, where he just comes in there and just lights out. Now, unfortunately, in that game, he does walk out later because he does push it and he ends up getting hurt. But KD is just one of the most clutch players in our generation. What he was doing to end that half, just walk up 3-point shots 2 seconds into the shot clock. Once he gets over that half court line, it's just been incredible to watch. He also had a little bit of a feud on Twitter. I don't know if you saw that one, going up against one of the fans, hoping that the NBA would pick up some of the FIBA rules. Kevin Durant, not a fan of it all, does not think that needs to be done. Is there anything in the NBA that you wish would be changed, or maybe swap it for some of those FIBA rules that we're seeing in the Olympics right now? Is there anything in that FIBA game you think the NBA should adopt?
No, not at this moment. Because again, I mean, they've already went away to make it a lot more easier scoring for the European players, just so they can have a better chance over here. So I wouldn't change anything, honestly. I'll leave it just the way it is. If something is too hard for you, or something is, oh, well, that's not fair because no, you're not good enough. Like, and it shouldn't change to make the rules easier for you or whatnot. The NBA is the best league and what people aim to get to for a reason. So if you can't adapt to it, I mean, you pulled the short straw. Oh well.
I agree. There's a couple things I wish I could adopt, but they're not even really rule changes. Officiating, I just like the way it's officiated over there. They allow a lot more contact. In the NBA, again, that's not necessarily a rule change, but the NBA just feels like it's gotten so much softer. And the other part, TV commercials. Way more fluid of a game when you're watching FIBA. They don't just jam every single minute they get with commercials. It's insane how long some of those NBA games take. And then when you go watch FIBA, you realize it's like, oh yeah, these basketball games aren't supposed to be 3 hours long. They're actually pretty quick. But when you're just jam-packed and full of commercials, those are the only two things. The defensive 3-second, I know this guy on Twitter was arguing about. I don't necessarily care for that too much. I don't think the NBA needs to have that rule in place. I kind of like it. I think you just allow an AD, a Victor Wembanyama, to sit in the paint all day long. That's not going to be very fun basketball to watch.
No, not at all.
Yeah, and then go ahead.
Yeah, no, that like what exactly that'll give them a strength. I mean, they've been having 3 seconds since you were, in the second grade and learn how to dribble a ball.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm not agreeing with that one at all. If you're not good enough, you just don't belong. That's just what it is.
Yeah, and I think that's pretty fair. And Kevin Durant, I hope he does pick up some sort of social media career after, because he gets salty on Twitter. But sometimes you listen to him and he knows what he's talking about. The guy is loud as he can be on social media. Don't challenge him on ball. He definitely knows what he's talking about. After seeing Team USA, though, dominate by 26 points, and then you said the women's team, they dominate Japan by 26 points. Which team are you confident to get the gold medal more? Men's, women's, or are you saying both? They're going to be able to run through and get that gold medal?
I think the men's will have a bit more challenge. Not by much. I think the women's, it's pretty much wrapped up.
Mm-hmm.
But the men's, like I said, man, you're going to get teams' best shot to prove themselves. So I just think it's a little bit more physical, a little bit more, I don't want to say skill, because they both are equally skilled. But it's just a little bit more physical with things and whatnot. And like I said, some of these other countries, they could be, that's their auditions for the NBA and everything like that. So not to say that these teams aren't going to give, the females team their best shot. I just think it might be just a little bit more intense on the male side. So I think the females will have a little bit easier trip to gold. I think the men's will get gold. I just think, it might be a few little hiccups here and there that you might see.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I'm with you there. The women's, to your point, I think it's just not so much that. I think it's just especially on the women's side, they haven't necessarily caught up to the development. And when you look at the men's team in Europe, like that's kind of been a slow thing where it's growing, and now it feels like it's kind of finally catching up to the U.S. in terms of their programs of development. Women's basketball doesn't feel like it's just nearly as popular out there, kind of what you could argue what soccer is here for the U.S. So I do think like it's over time, but I feel like the women are going to have a pretty good chance. The women have really just dominated out of the USA and run that thing every year. They kind of remind me of the rugby team in terms of how dominant they are. Like you're probably hard pressed to find a team that's going to be able to stop them. One more event I want to talk about, and it's twofold because it's just insanity that we can't ever get the men's over there. But women's soccer, they've been playing pretty well. They win both their first games by 3 points. I believe the first one versus Zambia, and the second one they actually beat Germany 4-1. Women's soccer in the U.S. has been consistently solid. Why can't the men ever reach that level of at least consistency? I mean, hell, they're not even at this Olympics because that's just where that program's at.
I don't know. The men's team that I don't think they stack up well against some of these other countries for soccer for whatever reason. Like I always feel like we're a step behind or too slow or not savvy enough. I feel like some of these other countries have always been powerhouse or produced powerhouse players. There isn't too many American like superstars when it comes to soccer when you think of soccer. And I mean, they're good, but I mean, good isn't going to get you to where you need to be at, or they're average, and that's not, good enough to get things over the hump. The females have just always, for whatever reason, has for majority of it, have had better luck with stuff and have had more superstars that continue to put out and produce. When you think of male soccer, like I couldn't even really think of a male athlete that's on the U.S. that's been on the USA team for probably the last two Olympics, probably.
Well, to your point,
maybe one. I know that.
Like you would throw out Pulisic, probably the best American soccer player we've had in a long time. But you put him over in Europe's rankings to the rest of the Premier League, still a fantastic player, but that's not the guy that everybody's raving about. And he is a fantastic player. He's definitely a generational talent, but it's still not to the same extent to what a lot of those other countries have, just loaded rosters of guys that have been playing soccer since their youth.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's not close. I don't know what you need to do to make it close. It's just kind of, it's unfair, and it's like it is just what it is. Like I said, when you see some of these U.S. players stack up against Mexico, El Salvador, some of these other teams, like Brazil, it's not fair. They're not savvy enough. They're not quick enough. They're not fast enough. Like they look like they get tired quicker. Like it's just the overall product isn't the same. And I'm not so sure what you need to do to fix that, because they breathe differently, around the world for soccer, and it's just not the same necessarily for soccer for us.
Yeah, it felt like there's one point in time where it was finally starting to gain some traction, and I think you'd have to go maybe 3, maybe even 4 Olympics back, but it feels like all that momentum's just been completely wiped away. Is it an interest thing? Just like the youth males in just around here are just not interested in soccer enough compared to girls? Because like I said, the girls have no problem. Like they, despite not being over in Europe or Middle East or Asia, I don't care where you are, they have no problems with it. But I do wonder if it's just not enough interest over here.
That could be it. I mean, soccer pays people too, so yeah. It's not, it's not like it's not. But I mean, honestly, it's probably a fourth pick for sports. I mean, clearly you got football, you got basketball, you got baseball, and then you would probably go soccer. I just don't think the peak athletes or athletes that would really pick up on that. That's their first choice of things. Do we have good soccer players and everything like that? Like, yeah, but it's certainly not enough to what we've seen from these other countries. So I don't know exactly like how do you entice that to pick things up or whatnot. Just because I mean, us as a nation, like I said, I mean, there are three things that you're probably going to pick up before you probably do soccer. Will a lot of people play soccer? Yes, but again, you got basketball, baseball, and then you throw football in there, and it's just like, I don't really want to do soccer. So I just think it's not as interesting for the male, the male athletes in the U.S. That they rather play basketball, they rather play, football. I mean, when you going out to the park and whatnot, what is the number one sport that you're going to see in parks? Either basketball or football. Not to say that soccer doesn't happen, but I mean, more people are more inclined to pick up one of those two balls to play versus, looking at soccer and doing it. I mean, it's just, I can't remember the last time or me growing up where, my friends went out and we played soccer at the park. Like, no, somebody grabbed the basketball, somebody grabbed the football, and that's just what it was. So I just don't think, many athletes are really, gravitating to that in the male predominantly sport. It's basketball or football.
Yeah. I mean, you're more likely to find people out there playing tennis, to be honest. Like, I think me growing up, I'd go to the park, I'd probably see, out of every 10 people, and they're just going to play soccer or tennis. 9 of them be playing tennis, only 1 be playing soccer. So I don't know. Maybe it's just an interest thing. Money thing, you could argue the average salary for 2024 is just about $600,000. It's $594,000, which is up quite a bit, though. A 12% increase from last year. Lionel Messi, obviously, from Miami, was the highest paid player in MLS in 2024 with a guaranteed compensation of $20.4 million, which is more than the total compensation of 25 MLS rosters. So it definitely isn't the most paying unless you were, Lionel Messi. But even just that right there, if you're Messi, $20.4 million compensation compared to looking at what Love just got paid, or Mahomes gets paid, or LeBron James gets paid, for a generational player like that, even that might seem pretty low.
But even for soccer players, like, they got to go over in these other leagues to even get that level of payment or something like that. Like, that doesn't happen, here on the U.S. They don't look at. I'm not saying that. I mean, athletes get paid regardless. Yes, they do. But you're not gonna have your Steph Currys, where Steph Curry broke at a point in time the scale for basketball players. LeBron James has broke the scale. Odell has broke the scale with football numerous times. Patrick Mahomes just reset stuff. You don't have that in soccer on this side of stuff. Now, if you go internationally and sign in these other leagues and everything like that, like, what's the guy from? I don't want to say it wrong. I don't know. I think he was with France, if I'm not mistaken, or Greece. A couple years ago, he got paid like 300 something, like millions or something like that, and he still wasn't even in our league. He was playing it for another country.
So Ibrahimovic, if I'm saying that right.
I think so. I know he wears number 7. I know that. I'm not really big into soccer myself, but I know certain ones. But like he got blessed, you know what I'm saying? And Messi has gotten blessed for a period of long time, but people aren't even close to what Messi is. You can only probably throw one other name up there with him, and that's
Cristiano Ronaldo.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, he gets paid faithfully, and he don't even come to the U.S. Like, he don't even touch the U.S. at all. So it's just, for the U.S., it's not what the thing is to do. Like, that's not the sport that you go play to, and I'm not saying that's not for everybody, because there are certain people that, soccer is their thing. But for the U.S., soccer ain't it. That's just what it is.
Yep. There's certainly, and you could even just go to the lack of coaching that you might even argue. I know a lot of people haven't been happy with the coaches we've kind of stuck around, in particular with the men's program. The women's feels absolutely fine, but yeah, and even when Messi did come down here, you could see the gap despite him being past his prime. I mean, he was killing people in any game he played. Messi was still just a massive problem. You could see the skill gap, like I said, despite being considerably past his prime. With that being said, though, we're going to go ahead and take our first break. Since we're talking contracts, we do got to bring it up. Love's contract, getting paid. If it works out, it's a lovely contract. If it doesn't work out, it can be a really ugly exit to try to trade him or get him off your roster, just the way that thing's structured. We've seen a lot of year 2 quarterbacks not show what they showed in year one. So we'll talk about that with Jordan Love. Don't go anywhere. Dump Punt Hour with the morning Pierson-El on the Allo VIP line. We'll talk to you guys on the other side.
Football season is nearly here, and your long wait for year 2 of Matt Rule is almost over. Gear up for the season with 93.7 The Ticket's coverage of Big Ten Media Days from July 23rd to the 25th, live from Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis. Jay Foreman, Amon Green, Adam Carricker, Chancellor Brewington, Derek Pearson, Steve Sipple, Jake Sorensen, and Nick Sainer will be in Indy for our shows Tuesday through Thursday. Getting the latest news from Nebraska and everyone else around the conference. Coverage of Big Ten Media Days is brought to you by 1890 Nebraska, Stevens and Smith Construction, The Complex, Warhorse Casino, and Riddles Jewelry.
Mario fue pintor más de 30 años. Cuando me dijo que se le estaban olvidando las cosas, fue difícil. Un día me dijeron que pintara el marco del lado por dentro y pinté el lado de afuera.
Yo le diría a la gente que le diga a su familia lo que está pasando con él.
Si algo se nota diferente, podría ser Alzheimer. Es momento de hablarlo. Visita alz.org/nuestras historias para saber más. Un mensaje de the Alzheimer's Association y the Ad Council.
The Nebraska legislature will soon meet in special session and may consider a vote to raise consumer prices by imposing a sales tax on advertising. Nebraska's small businesses would be hit hardest, forcing them to raise prices, meaning we'd all pay more for the things we need. Contact your state senator and tell them no ad tax. Visit noadtaxnebraska.com to find your senator's contact information. That's noadtaxnebraska.com. A message from the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Whether you like fishing together or fishing to get away, for the thrill of reeling in a big one, or just going out to have a good time, on the banks of your local pond, at a bend in a river, or on one of our many lakes and reservoirs, you'll always find the perfect place to cast a line. Here, beneath Nebraska skies. Start planning your next fishing adventure today at letsfishnebraska.com. Sponsored by Nebraska Game and Parks, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Your child was embarrassed when you arrived at their basketball game. 75% of parents or guardians report current alcohol use. Drinking alcohol can cause harm to children and loved ones. By drinking less, your child will be excited to see you at their basketball game. If you or a loved one is looking for help, find a treatment facility near you at findtreatment.gov. For immediate support, call, text, or chat 988.
Brought to you by Nebraska DHHS in partnership with SAMHSA.
Victor deployed for the first time to Afghanistan in 2003. At 4 a.m, my phone rang. They said, "I regret to inform you that your husband was wounded in action." Victor sustained a moderate traumatic brain injury. I was doing school full-time, and I was also then caring for Victor. One of the most important elements of caregiving is taking care of yourself. I just didn't want to forget that I also had goals and that I also had a life. What I did is I challenged Victor to meet me halfway. There are almost 6 million military and veteran caregivers across the nation. We have our own journey, and we can fulfill that journey at the same time that we are helping our loved one.
Visit aarp.org/caregiving for a free military veterans guide to navigate your caregiving journey and better care for your loved one and yourself. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Are you a veteran looking for a new companion animal? A dog, a cat, or maybe something else? The Nebraska Department of Veterans Affairs Vets Get Pets program can cover up to $350 of your pet adoption fees. Visit veterans.nebraska.gov/vetsgetpets to learn more about program requirements and how to apply. Want to help support the program? Get your Vets Get Pets specialty license plates from the Nebraska DMV. Sponsored by the Nebraska Department of Veterans Affairs. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
This is area race announcer James Rowland. Join me and Bree Fansteel every Sunday night from 7 to 8 on 93.7 The Ticket for The Finish Line, where we cover all things motorsports from local racing to racing around the world. Every Sunday night from 7 to 8 on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
This is the Don't Punt Hour on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here is your host, Demorne Pierson-El.
All right, welcome in to the Dump Punt Hour. I'm Harrison Arns on the ones and twos. As always, we got the morning Pierson-El streaming in. If you guys want to join in, you can use the streams. Like I said, we got Royals on the airwaves, but you can still use that Sword of Heyman text line, 402-464-5685. To start this segment up, and if we have time for it, we got to talk about an ESPN list as well. But Jordan Love, he got paid in a big way. He just joins onto what has just been the skyrocketing quarterback market. He go ahead, Green Bay signs a Love to a 4-year, $220 million contract extension that puts him in tie for the highest paid player in the NFL history. So now he currently sits up there. If we're going by per year, Jordan Love, Trevor Lawrence, Joe Burrow, all making $55 million a year. Year two, at one point in time, the Packers were 3-6, and then they turned it around, dismantled the Cowboys in the playoffs. Is that enough to make you confident that this was the right move?
I'm not sure. Do I think he's worth, a lot of money and is going to be a good quarterback? Like, yes, but just 1 year of necessarily showing that, and you're paying him among some of these guys that got a lot further. Not to, diminish him, because I think he's an excellent quarterback. I think he can play. I think he has a bright future. But I mean, I guess you going off of potential and what they need is there. I mean, he getting paid, more than Josh Allen, and Josh Allen has done way more, went way farther. With I would say a team that's about equal. Mm-hmm. But I mean, a Josh Allen then at least, got to AFC championship games than won playoff games. Not to say, I mean, he's won more. I mean, but he didn't set the bench more so than played. So, I mean, is that their guy? Clearly. Do I think he's going to be well and whatnot? Yes, but I don't know if what he got was actually what he was supposed to get, just with what his resume speaks of. Now, I guess you're paying him early and before, I guess, like it comes in. Like I said, over these next couple years, he could take off and really, be what we've seen from Aaron Rodgers and the Packers over the years and be 2.0. That could be. And I mean, and if so, I tip my hat to him. Y'all got it right. Y'all hit it on the head. But you don't know. I mean, he has a young core offense around him. I mean, his receivers are young. I mean, at some point in time, you only gonna maybe pay one or two of those. You got Josh Jacobs in the backfield, which let him go off and have another good year. You gonna pay top dollar for him because you're gonna want to keep him. So I mean, the team is young, and I'm not too sure. I like LaFleur. I like what they're doing. I just don't know if 55 M's a year is what you needed to cough up for him at this point right now.
Yeah, it definitely shows how young that team is, that they even have the salary cap to just, again, there is a little bit of wiggle room where if they do decide to trade him at 2025, they could try to save some of that dead cap money. But after that point, if he stays on there, you're locked in. I mean, if you try to move on at that point,
you don't pay him that type of money to just trade him, regardless of whatever it is. You go and try and figure and work it out. I mean, him and Trevor Lawrence honestly are in the same ship. Like what? One playoff game?
Yeah, they haven't proven. Really,
like, I mean, he got 55, and I'm like, Joe done did what y'all done did. Lamar done did what y'all done did. Josh Allen did what y'all done did, and
I'm not okay with Trevor Lawrence. I'm not okay with Love. Not
they didn't even get. I mean, Kyler probably has done a little bit more than them, and Kyler, got a fair deal, which I think his market value was that. So I mean, I don't know necessarily who their agent is and whatnot, and I understand you want to lock things down and whatnot, but not to say that y'all didn't deserve 55 M's, but I mean, people going to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, Burrow beat Mahomes and went to the Super Bowl.
People going to the Super Bowl. People, going to the AFC Championship, and you can say whatever you want to say. Even like what Brock, AFC Championship, and Super Bowl. Like, so I mean, whatever he got coming, at least you didn't got there and then did what you were supposed to do. Not to say that Trevor or Love hasn't, but it's like y'all not even on the same playing field as of which our resume speaks of. So I don't think it was 55. I think they're better than Daniel
Jones.
Yeah, I think they're better than that. So I mean, I would say the floor is at least 40.
You think could you sniff like a Carson Wentz situation, year 2 Carson Wentz off the deal, where like sometimes I mean that one was an absolute disaster, but injuries played into it.
No, because Carson Wentz was a good quarterback. He just got hurt, and I don't think he really bounced back. And then
taking over mentally.
You trying to rush back with things and whatnot, and then they draft another guy who is on the same level of playing as you and whatnot. It kind of messes things up, and they see that you can kind of move on and whatnot. So I don't think that would necessarily happen. I mean, the guy has sat and kind of watched and studied behind Aaron Rodgers, so we've seen him kind of take things out of Aaron's game and kind of adapt it to his. He's a talented guy. He's on point. If you look at what how people talk about him on the team and everything like that, he's a guy that shows up early and leaves late. So I don't think he'll kind of go back. I think he'll be more even pissed off because of what people have said about him getting paid and him just kind of silencing the critics and whatnot. So I think he will take another step. He should take another step up. I mean, with him in his division, I mean, at least you can probably be number 2 in division at best.
On paper, that's where people are going to slot him. Definitely at least 2, maybe even 1.
So, I mean, it's gonna be between them and the Lions, I think, necessarily for what things are going to be. You got 2 rookies in the division. I'm not trusting a rookie to win that division when you got 2 playoff teams that are both strong.
And with better coaching, I'd argue.
I mean, the Lions were a player 2 away from going to the conference championship, and who knows if they don't went there, they might have went to the Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying? So. It's just tough. I don't see that happening.
Yeah, the NFC North is just a brutal division now. I mean, thank goodness the Vikings, we don't know yet, but you would assume take a step back. But the Lions finding their rhythm, the Bears, we'll have to wait and see. Very much kind of like the Vikings. We'll see what happens. They should be good.
You can put the Lions as a top 10 team in the NFL.
Yeah, 100%.
There's a lot of teams that don't want to face the Lions. Like, that is a physical – what the Saints kind of used to be when Sean was down there, where they were just a physical group. Yeah. And, like, that's kind of what the Lions, have transformed to. Like, they're a physical team that you do not want to see. And golf's not going to put you in a bad situation of things and whatnot, and they're building pieces around him. So, I mean, just be on the lookout for, them to go far.
Yeah, I always wonder, speaking of Goff, how those guys feel about some of these insane quarterbacks, these young guys. Last thing, we'll wrap this up with Love. This is, again, we're talking very small sample size. This is the risk. Now, I don't think we'll ever be this bad with Love, but when he first was getting out there in those first 9 games, 2,000 yards passing, 14 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. So not great. 80.5 passer rating and only a 58% completion percentage. They were 3-6 at the time, but obviously they switched that around, go on a 6-into stretch, and he has an 18-1 touchdown to interception ratio to end things up.
I mean, he started to figure it out. He started to, settle in and kind of, okay, they probably figured out what they like to do with him, a lot more and whatnot, and things probably started, hitting. And if I'm not mistaken, I feel like the Packers kind of were hurt last year with stuff. I want to say Jones might have been out for a little bit of time.
Yeah, Jones was in and out for sure.
They had some pieces. I know Watson was hurt for a while, and I know he's probably their number 1 receiver. Honestly, so I mean, hopefully, if they can stay healthy and whatnot, like they're a dangerous group that you don't want to see. On the defensive side, They got a strong defense. They got some young talented players. So they're a team to watch out for.
Yeah, and the thing what makes me nervous, which I as legitimately like as a Bears fan, where I think these guys, I mean, they did dismantle the Cowboys before they ended up their season in the playoffs, and I think Love maybe missed like 4 passes total. It was just the complete dismantling of the Dallas Cowboys, and Love made it look easy, which that was kind of the cherry on top that I think was like, yeah, we can pay this guy. He already just won a playoff game. And not only won it, just absolutely dominated.
55 M's, you telling me Jared Goff has done more than him?
It's like 55 M's now to save you 65, 75 later. I think he's just got a hell of a negotiator, a hell of an agent. I just, that's way too much. But you look at Trevor Lawrence, and Trevor Lawrence kind of blew that whole thing up, really just elevating what that QB market is. And when you have a guy like Trevor Lawrence getting paid 55,
I'd have did more than him. So yeah, that's probably what they was waiting on. They wasn't tripping. So yeah, I agree with you with that.
Yeah. So I mean, we'll see. It's still a ton of money, and it can go bad. Like there is a way where if things don't pan out, even if it's just like unfortunate injuries, if he's still there, after 2025, that's just going to be an incredible amount of dead cap if they're not playing him anymore. But I'm pretty doubtful. Like I said, he absolutely played incredibly down the stretch, dismantled the Cowboys in the playoffs. We're going to wrap things up on this segment, but on the other side, just to tease it, we're going to talk about Ndamukong Suh because there was another article from ESPN, and they actually put Ndamukong Suh as one of the best players of the century. So don't go anywhere. We'll keep talking about it. Don't Punt Hour with Pierson-El.
Victor deployed for the first time to Afghanistan in 2003. At 4 a.m, my phone rang. They said, "I regret to inform you that your husband was wounded in action." Victor sustained a moderate traumatic brain injury. I was doing school full-time, and I was also then caring for Victor. One of the most important elements of caregiving is taking care of yourself. I just didn't want to forget that I also had goals and that I also had a life. What I did is I challenged Victor to meet me halfway. There are almost 6 million military and veteran caregivers across the nation. We have our own journey, and we can fulfill that journey at the same time that we are helping our loved one.
Visit aarp.org/caregiving for a free military veterans guide to navigate your caregiving journey and better care for your loved one and yourself. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
When you were a kid, clubs were cool. Robotics club and space club and stuff like that. But what do adults get? Book clubs and quilting clubs? Nah, forget that. How about margarita clubs and old-fashioned clubs? Get to Upside Bar and Lounge for the best clubs in town. Try all 10 varieties of Upside margaritas or old fashions and take home a free souvenir glass. Grab the whole crew and pair it with taco night on Mondays or whiskey Wednesdays. Upside Bar and Lounge at 29th and Pine Lake.
Early break with Sip and Jake.
I'd never turn it off. I'd never turned it off. I would never turn it off. I go flat 9. Ooh. I like it. I just love the sound of it.
I'd turn it off. I'd walk to a different bar. I wouldn't.
Seriously?
It's horrible. It's horrible.
Bill, what is the why?
It's a 194.
Why?
It just doesn't. No, it's
That's
just
the biggest
no.
despair we've ever had.
Yeah, it's a 194. Nothing. There's that one good thing about that song.
Well,
I've never questioned you more in my life.
Early break with Sip and Jake from 6 to 8 every weekday morning on 93.7 The Ticket.
1 in 3 adults has prediabetes. 1 in 3. That means it could be you, your football buddy, your football buddy, or you, your best man, your worst man, you, your dog walker, your cat jogger. While 1 in 3 adults has prediabetes, with early diagnosis, prediabetes can be reversed. Take the risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org. That's doihaveprediabetes.org.
Wait, did they just say 1 in 3 adults has prediabetes? That's 33.33333% of adults. That means it could be me, my boss, or my boss's boss, or me, my favorite sister, or my other sister. That's 7 members of my 21-person romantic book club. Wait, the 1 in 3 could be me, my karaoke partner Carol, or my karaoke enemy Jeff. I'm going to take the risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org.
Brought to you by the Ad Council and its Prediabetes Awareness Partners.
93.7 The Ticket is proud to provide listeners with daily opportunities to win contests and prizes on our airwaves, and would like to take this opportunity to remind you of a couple rules. All participants must be 21 or older and must wait 30 days after winning a prize before participating in another contest. Once you win, you have 30 days to pick up your prize at the K&TK Studios, 1040 O Street in Lincoln, or your prize will be forfeit. Thank you for participating in our contest, and thank you for listening to 93.7 The Ticket.
I get it, slip it, cuff it, check it twice a day.
I get it, slip it, cuff it, check it in the morning and before dinner.
I get it, slip it, cuff it, check it, and share it with my doctor. Nearly 1 in 2 U.S. adults have high blood pressure. That's why it's important to self-monitor your blood pressure in 4 easy-to-remember steps. It starts with a monitor.
Now that I know my blood pressure numbers, I talked with my doctor. We're getting those numbers down.
Get it, slip it, cuff it, check it. Talk to doctor now and share it.
Be next to talk to your doctor about your blood pressure numbers. Get down with your blood pressure. Self-monitoring is power. Learn more at manageyourbp.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council, the American Heart Association, and the American Medical Association, in partnership with the Office of Minority Health and Health Resources and Services Administration.
With the Planet Fitness Black Card, you don't just get a great workout, you get a great perk out because your membership is packed with perks. For $1 down and $24.99 a month, you'll get perks like access to any of our 2,400 clean and spacious locations. Bring your friend anytime and both work out with tons of equipment that'll give you that big fitness energy. Relax in the Black Card spa and more. Work out and perk out with the PF Black Card. Join for just $1 down and $24.99 a month.
Hurry, this deal ends soon.
See Home Club for details.
This is how we do every day. We be grinding, and if you wanna come and text us,
If you love them enough to turn off your music and pretend like their music is your music,
This is Mommy's jam.
then surely you'll check nhtsa.gov/the right seat to make sure they're in the right car seat.
Let's play it again.
Check today at nhtsa.gov/the right seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
This is the Don't Punt Hour on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here is your host, DeMornay Pierson-El.
All right, wrap things up here on the Don't Punt Hour. Final segment in this one. We're just going off an ESPN article here, and I want to give his name because I totally agree with him on this list. College football's top 25 players of the 21st century from Bill Connolly, ESPN staff writer. And I want to break this down. We don't have time to get through all 25, but good morning to yourself. One sec here as we get this. Sorry, what was that? Go ahead.
I say we can get through the top 10.
I think top 5. Top 10 is going to be cutting it close here.
Okay.
Full rapid fire, 10 through 6, just so we have an idea where this list is going. So at number 10, and again, remember, this is 21st century. Number 10, Pitt, Larry Fitzgerald. Number 9, quarterback Joe Burrow, Ohio State, LSU. And then you go to Miami, Bryant McKinney. Number 8. Number 7, Reggie Bush, USC. Number 6, quarterback Tim Tebow, Florida. Number 5. And this is where this list sticks out to me because they appreciate defense. Ed Reed, Miami, safety. He's all the way up there at number 5. Number 4, I'll see if you can guess it. It was a quarterback for Texas.
Vince Young.
Yep, Vince Young. You got the list in front of you?
Yeah.
Right.
The fact that Baker is ahead of Reggie Bush is crazy. Absolute crazy. I think that the top 3, it should be Sue by far first. Okay, that's fine. If he wasn't the top 3, I would be pissed off.
Yeah.
Reggie Bush is he's not in the top 5. Crazy. He's not 2. If he's not 1, he's not 2. Absolutely insane. Cam, I'll take Cam. What Cam did, fine and dandy. I'm cool with that. After that, I will go Vince and then whatever. You can put Tim Tebow to list off the top 5, but you're putting Baker over what Reggie Bush did. Are you kidding me?
And he's, I get it. It's impressive. He's 6 foot, but he never won. He played
championship. Was he the reason why the team was a lot of successful? Yes, but he wasn't a Vince Young. He wasn't a Tim Tebow.
I agree. I probably have him outside the top.
So the disrespect with Reggie is crazy.
Yeah, he gets disrespected in about every list. I don't know what it is about Reggie.
They gave him his Heisman back. Stop the disrespect. Like put some respect on that man. Like Reggie Bush, like him, Honey Badger, Tavon Austin, Black Mamba from Oregon, Percy Harvin, like those is like game changers. Like when you turn on that highlight film, they were just different. You need another word besides game changer, because if all these people is on game changer, that some of these people that I just listed is completely different.
What about this one? I'm curious what you think, because these guys are hard to judge, but I kind of like it. Offensive tackle Joe Thomas, Wisconsin. I think 12's too high, but I never know where to rank those guys, because it's very difficult for them to be just the major impactful player on a roster.
With offensive linemen, you got to look at overall career starts, overall how many times they gave up a sack, who they were playing at that time and whatnot. I feel like, or like what stats did they quarterback have with them on the field.
Yeah.
So their criteria is a little bit different. You would have to really dive into certain things with them. I'm not happy with this top 10. I think they got some players right, but I think they also got some players completely wrong.
Yeah, I think the first one sticks out is Baker Mayfield. I mean, here's the other one.
You put him over Cam?
Cam?
I'm on
over
Cam's,
Joe. I don't even know if I have him over
Cam's worst day. I'm taking Cam over Baker, and it ain't close. You put him over. You put Baker over Tebow in college. We're not talking about pros. College. Tebow was something different. Like it had. No, I'm not. I'm taking Tebow. I don't care. In the SEC too. Back when they had some dogs. You had Saban, Les Miles, and Bo Pelini all at LSU at this time. No, give me Tebow. No, I'm not doing that. No, that's crazy. So they hit some points with that, but ranking some of these players, especially Baker, that they haven't had the same success on the collegiate level, and I feel like you kind of gotta. And I understand, Sue didn't win a national championship, but again, still the teams that did win a national championship, his stats were better than the entire defense.
Yeah,
you can't. That's undeniable. He should have won the Heisman. He got robbed. I don't care. I would say it to what's the running back that run it? Is it Mark?
What's the
Ingram? Mark Ingram.
I agree with you.
I would tell Mark to his face, and he can say whatever he wants to. I would tell him.
He would probably agree, and I'm not even kidding. I think that is like one of the most obvious robbings, because you mentioned it. I mean, I implore anybody, go look at the champion winner, go look at the runner-up, go look at the best team in the Big Ten record-wise, go look at the best team in the Big 12, and you will find that
one player had stats that were either his stats probably ranked second as a whole defense.
Yep. It's incredible. It is the most blindsided. And again, this is why I want to bring up this list. It's great because it feels like you get the respect. And then I'm like, man, how many people are going
to you give it to Sue, but then you turn around and disrespect Reggie like that? Are you kidding me? It's some kids that wear 5 today because of or that are grown adults in their career, they wore 5 because of Reggie Bush. I think Reggie Bush, it literally is the 1 or 2, either or. You can interchange him and Sue, that's fine and dandy. I'm cool with Vince being 3rd, and you can go Tebow 4.
I'm good with that too. Again, I get it. Like, and he talks about like some of his key accomplishments. And again, they're all great, but when he dives into after the details, standing at only 6 foot, like that stuff, that doesn't matter. You're not supposed to equate that at all. It's not about who's got the biggest mountain to climb. It's just who's the best. Baker.
My question: would you take in college? Would you take Johnny Manziel or Baker?
College?
Yes.
Give me Johnny football.
I'm taking Johnny, and it's not close. So what? How is? I feel like Johnny had a more impactful career than Baker. Honestly,
I think he's getting the Reggie Bush treatment. I think people just, because of everything after, that's so hard for them to get that part out of their head that they just start to taint his college career already. Even though if you go watch it, I mean, it's incredible. But again, we just saw, Reggie Bush being down. Where was he at?
7.
How far did he have to go? Yeah, 7. Oh, man. Every list we go to, Reggie Bush always gets pushed down a little too far.
Y'all just go cut on his highlights. Y'all are tripping. What he was doing was completely different. Like no. Like I said, Sue, Reggie, Sue, either or. You can keep Cam at 3. You can throw Vince at 4, Tebow at 5. That's my top 5. That's crazy.
I agree. That's going to be the clip, too. I think that'll be an easy one. That's going to wrap it up, though. Don't Punt Hour. Shout out to Morning Pierson-El on time, as always. We got Chance of Brewington calling in. He's back from Big Ten Media Days, so it should be a lot of fun. We'll get to hear some stories from him. So don't go anywhere. We'll keep it rolling on Ticket Weeknights.
Victor deployed for the first time to Afghanistan in 2003. At 4 a.m, my phone rang. They said, "I regret to inform you that your husband was wounded in action." Victor sustained a moderate traumatic brain injury, was doing